family and internet stranger, Stephanie here with a new What's for Dinner video. These meals are going to be very easy. I have had zero motivation to cook lately, so I have mainly been leaning on pre-cooked things and stuff from the freezer and convenience foods, but I do have a few good ideas for you, so let's get right into it.
First up is a loaded barbecue pork baked potato, and this was so good. Highly recommend. I've seen a few people do this on their channels lately, and it is such a good idea. So I'm going to start out by making a baked potato. I do mine in the air fryer, so I am poking holes. You don't need to do quite as many as I did, but I do like to get all the sides of the potato there. And then I am going to drizzle some oil on the outside. I'm using extra virgin olive oil here and a little bit of salt going on there as well. And then I'm going to rub that in all over my potato. And I had washed this thoroughly before I started recording. So this is a clean potato, no dirt on there as I am rubbing all of that in. And then while that is in the air fryer, I am going to make up a side salad. So for this salad, I added some romaine lettuce, some chopped up bell peppers, and carrots. I didn't have any onion, but I wanted onion flavor on there, so I drizzled some of the little dehydrated minced onion over the top, and then my ranch dressing. And then since I was doing a barbecue baked potato, I thought it might be good to add in some barbecue sauce to this as well and some cheese. That's Colby Jack because it's what I had on hand. So I just did a couple little drops of the barbecue sauce here. And then once I've got that salad all put together, as usual, I shake, shake, shake that salad because I love a good chopped and shaken salad. Hands down better than a spun around with a spoon type salad or a stirred salad. My words are not coming to me anymore. Stirred salad, definitely prefer it shaken. And my potato took so long to cook that I ended up eating this while I waited instead of as a side. So it became a little bit of an appetizer. Eventually, though, I cut my potato in half so that it would finish up faster because the inside just was not getting done. It took over an hour to cook this in the air fryer. It was a bigger potato than I realized it was. So after I cut it in half, it finished cooking the middle a little bit and I got that nice little bit of brown on top. So once I had that all cooked, I made some slits in the potato with the knife before adding my butter to it. So I add butter to each side and let it get right down into that potato. And then I kind of mashed it into the potato a little bit. And that tasted so good. Even on its own, that would have been a fantastic baked potato. But adding extra stuff to it took it over the top. So from here, other ways I could have potentially done this potato. You can add chili to the top of a baked potato is so good with some sour cream and cheese, or just sour cream, cheese, and bacon bits go really well. You can make a broccoli cheddar potato where you put cheese and cooked broccoli on top. Also sour cream, always going to go well on that if you like sour cream. So there are so many ways that you can do a nice versatile baked potato. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a favorite method of eating a loaded baked potato, or if you prefer them plain with just butter or butter and sour cream, because sometimes just butter and sour cream is all I need on a baked potato. I will eat potatoes in pretty much any form you give them to me in. So this pulled pork that I'm using on here is from Costco. It is the Kirkland brand pulled pork, and then I'm adding a little bit of barbecue sauce drizzled right over the top of that. And I had already heated up the pulled pork in the microwave, so it was warm on top of here. And then once I've got that on there, I add a little bit of cheese, and then I did put this back into the air fryer for just under 5 minutes. I just wanted to get a little bit of meltiness on top with the cheese really throwing it over the top here. So once I got that nice melty cheese on this, I added a little bit more stuff on top. So to my nice cooked potato, I added some sour cream after it came back out of the air fryer. And then for a little bit of crunch on top, I added some of those Aldi brand of the French's fried onions, those crispy onions. And this was an excellent meal. Highly recommend, but plan accordingly for how long a baked potato takes to cook for you. Next up, I got Takeout from Thai Original Barbecue, and it was so disappointing because all of this I paid $18, which that doesn't sound that bad, but the $18 that I paid was after a 40% off coupon and a $9 balance of a gift card that I used up. So this would have been so much more expensive, and that didn't even include the rice. I cooked the rice on my own because I didn't feel like paying for it a la carte. So don't necessarily recommend that place. Next up, I have got a pulled pork version of a mashed potato bowl. So I started out with some mashed potatoes. The ones I had were just instant mashed potatoes, and I had made them in the microwave to keep it really simple this night. And then I added some corn right on top of my mashed potatoes. And then on top of that, some of that leftover pulled pork. Again, this is that same Costco pulled pork that I had in the last meal with pulled pork, the potato. And then on top of this, I wanted my barbecue sauce to be more like a gravy, so I had just simmered it for a few minutes with a little bit of water to make it thinner, and that worked out well to make it a gravy. And then on top of there, I gotta add some cheese. So again, this is Colby Jack because that is what I had on hand in my refrigerator, which is also from Costco, by the way. I got a massive thing of Colby Jack cheese and shredded it myself, and now I always have it on hand. The next night, more pulled pork with a little bit of barbecue sauce on top, along with some of the Campbell's pork and beans, some carrots, and some of the onion rings that I got from Walmart. Those are the Red Robin ones. After that, we've got chicken and stuffing casserole. This is one of my favorite comfort foods. I absolutely love this. It is so comforting, and it is something that I love the leftovers of, possibly even more than having it fresh, because the stuffing on top really absorbs all of that filling. So I started out with some sour cream, and then to that I'm adding my favorite cream of blank soup. This one is cream of onion. You could use cream of mushroom, you can use cream of chicken, whatever your preferred cream of soup is. And then for seasoning, I really just added pepper to this. It's one of those things that I like the flavor of, whether it's got a lot of seasoning or not, so I kept it simple with a little bit of black pepper there. Then I'm going to add in a bag of mixed veggies. These were not cooked all the way through. I had just popped them in the microwave long enough to make sure they were not frozen anymore, and I could get some of that water off of them so they didn't make the casserole too runny. And then I've got my Costco rotisserie chicken, but you can use any cooked chicken on this. The original recipe from Stovetop, which is what I used to use, the exact recipes from Stovetop, called for raw chicken, but you do have to cook that a lot longer if you're using raw chicken to make sure it is fully cooked. And cooking chicken makes me nervous. So if I've got that rotisserie chicken on hand, it is so easy to put in a casserole. That has become one of my favorite things to do, is get my cheap Costco rotisserie chicken and then put half in the freezer, shred it up, and half using it for a casserole the night that I get it. Also, these casseroles have been coming really well in handy, or coming in handy really well. Really, y'all, I can't talk anymore. I'm so ready for my vacation next week. These have been coming in handy for lunches because most casseroles and pasta dishes I like the leftovers of. I have been making them on Monday nights, which is my day off, and then I have them for lunches through the week, and it has been helping me to not buy lunch as often when I've been doing this. So I'm just topping this with stovetop stuffing as prepared on the package, throw it in the oven until it's nice and brown on top, and had a little bit of Caesar salad to go alongside this. So good. Next up, I simply took some of those Just Bare chicken chunks that I use a lot. I tossed them in the sweet spicy love sauce that I get from Uncle Lou's in Memphis and had broccoli with it. That was super simple, very easy that day. And then this was the first night I had actually cooked in a long time, like not just thrown together things, because that chicken casserole was actually from a week prior to this pork chop. These meals have kind of been spread out over the course of 2 weeks since I didn't have a video last week. But I took my pork chop. I had this pineapple white balsamic vinegar that I had picked up in Covington on one of my road trips, and I was looking for ways to use it, and I thought pork with a pineapple balsamic sounded really good. So I put that in a bag along with some olive oil, and then I am just going to make sure my pork gets all coated. And then I did let this marinate for about 2 hours or so, but you don't have to let it marinate long, or you could let it marinate overnight. That's up to you and your preference. And then once I was ready to cook this, I did also add some more seasoning. I added the blend, the Kinder's the blend, which is the salt, pepper, and garlic flakes that come in the blend. So again, just making sure that gets all over the pork. And then I didn't show this, but I've shown it every time I've cooked pork lately, is that I just seared each of the sides of this before I put it in the oven. So I put it in a pan and each side for about 2 minutes just to get that cooking process started and get a little bit of color on the outside. To go along with this, I had a potato to use up, so I made some roasted potatoes. I had already peeled and chopped them into little cubes, and then I added some olive oil, and again that Kinder's the blend seasoning going onto these. And then to that I'm also adding some Italian seasoning, and a little bit more came out of the package than I planned, but it worked out well. These were very well seasoned. They tasted so good. So once I've got these all stirred up, I grab a baking sheet. I line it in foil. This is one that fits in my air fry oven. And then I add my pork that has been seared on each side onto the same sheet pan. And then I put these in the air fryer that I have on the air roast function until the pork was fully cooked through. And that would have been for me about 24 minutes. And then I halfway through had flipped it over and also had moved my potatoes around a little bit so they didn't get too stuck. When those came out of the air fryer, air roaster, whatever you want to call it, you could also use a plain oven and bake this. I tossed some Parmesan cheese. I thought sounded really good for these potatoes, and it was delicious having that little bit of Parmesan on there. And this was only one potato. It was a very big potato, so I had leftovers of the potatoes after this. And I drizzled a little bit of the leftover juices from the sheet pan onto the top of my pork, and it was so tasty.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all found some easy weeknight meal inspiration from it. If you did, I hope you give me a thumbs up, and then also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.